Here's something almost nobody tells you about compost. The gardeners who built the richest soil in history never owned a thermometer, never turned a pile, and never broke a sweat over a steaming heap. They walked away and let it sit, and their soil ended up better than yours or mine. If turning your bin has started to feel like a chore, stick with me, because what you were taught to do might be quietly working against you. If you've spent years layering greens and browns just right, turning every few days, checking the heat like a roast in the oven, none of that effort was wasted. You were following the instructions almost every book and every class hands out. The trouble is those instructions were built for a very different job, one most backyard gardeners never actually face. And before we get into why, let's take a quick second, because if you're the kind of gardener who cares about building real soil instead of chasing quick fixes, this channel was made for you, so go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The hot pile method traces back nearly a century to a British scientist working in India who watched farmers turn plant matter and manure into rich living soil without any modern tools at all. He carried those ideas home, and they eventually spread into the compost method most of us know today, the one built around heat, speed, and constant turning. That approach makes sense on a working farm, where manure might carry pathogens and where weed seeds need to be destroyed before they spread across acres of cropland. For that job, heat is the right tool. For your backyard vegetable bed, it may be doing more harm than good. Here's what actually happens inside a hot pile. Fresh grass clippings and kitchen scraps wake up billions of bacteria almost overnight. They eat fast, they breathe hard, and the whole pile can climb past 130 degrees Fahrenheit, sometimes closer to 160. That heat kills off disease and weed seed, which is genuinely useful on a farm. But it also kills something else, the fine white fungal threads that do the slow, patient work of breaking down tough woody material into dark, crumbly, water-holding soil. Those fungi cannot survive the heat, so a hot pile finishes fast but leaves out the one ingredient that actually builds lasting structure in your ground. That's not to say hot compost is worthless. It still feeds your plants for a few weeks, which is a real benefit. But it fades quickly, because the slower half of the process, the half responsible for long-term soil health, went up with the steam. For a long time scientists believed decomposition eventually produced a permanent substance that locked carbon in soil for centuries. More recent research, including work out of Cornell, shows soil behaves more like a living, constantly shifting system than a vault of buried treasure. Nobody can honestly promise you permanent carbon storage. What research does agree on is that soil built slowly by undisturbed fungal activity holds water better through dry spells, resists erosion, and keeps nutrients from washing away with the first hard rain. A cool pile has one more advantage a hot pile can never offer, and that's earthworms. No worm can survive the temperatures inside a hot heap, but a cool pile sitting quietly on bare ground becomes a 5-star resort for them. They climb up from the soil below, drawn by moisture and food, and get straight to work eating, tunneling, and mixing everything together. Charles Darwin spent 40 years studying earthworms in his own garden and concluded that few creatures on Earth had done more to shape the ground beneath our feet. He understood, long before soil science existed, that worms are nature's own plowmen, doing the turning so you never have to. Research out of New Mexico State University found something similar when a scientist there built tall compost piles and simply refused to ever turn them. Every time a pile gets flipped, the fine fungal threads inside get torn apart right as they're establishing themselves, sending the whole process back to square one. Left undisturbed for the better part of a year, those piles produced compost so rich in fungal life that a small handful can wake up an entire bed of tired soil, the same way a spoonful of starter brings a fresh loaf of bread to life. So here's the method, and it really is this simple. Pick a shaded corner of your yard and set your pile directly on bare earth, never on concrete or fabric, so worms and fungi can move freely in from the ground below. Build it with roughly 3 parts dry material like fallen leaves, straw, or shredded cardboard to 1 part fresh green material like grass clippings and kitchen scraps. Keep that 3-to-1 ratio consistent every time you add to the pile. Bury kitchen scraps a few inches under the dry layer to keep pests away, and then leave it alone. Put the pitchfork back in the shed. Every time you turn a cool pile you shred the fungal network that's slowly forming and reset the whole clock. Avoid weeds that have already gone to seed and skip anything diseased, since a cool pile won't reliably kill either one. Leave out meat, dairy, and oily scraps entirely. A pile built mostly from leaves and plant trimmings will be ready in roughly 6 to 12 months. Add woody material and you're looking at closer to a year and a half, but that woody compost builds the longest lasting soil structure of all. You'll know it's finished when it turns dark, crumbly, and smells like a forest floor after rain, with no trace of the original leaves or scraps left behind. When you spread it, lay it gently across the surface of your beds instead of digging it in. An inch or two is plenty. Rain will carry the nutrients down to the roots, and the worms will pull the rest under for you. If you're composting manure or diseased material, there's a smart middle path. Let the pile run hot for the first few days to sanitize it, then stop turning and let it finish cool and slow like any other pile. Don't expect dramatic results in year 1. You'll notice the top inch darken slightly and the soil loosen just a touch under your trowel, and that's exactly right. By year 2 and 3, once you've added a fresh layer each season, the change becomes something you can actually feel: soil that's crumbly, moisture retentive, and darker with every passing year. That's the whole method: a quiet corner, a little rain, and time, asking nothing from you but patience. Every pile you start today is a gift to the gardener you'll be a few seasons from now. If that's the kind of gardening you want to grow into, subscribe to Gardening Like a Pro and share this with a fellow gardener, and let's keep building better soil together, one quiet season at a time.